Okay, well, welcome everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Sara Rodriguez. We are beginning our webinar. We want to thank you so much for your time this afternoon. We also want to thank our guest speakers and our team. So I will be presenting and acting as moderator today. If you have any questions, any technical difficulties, anything you would like to address, please feel free to use the chat and we will be answering questions as we go along in the presentation. Today, we are going to talk about preparing future generations of inclusive STEM faculty who mirror and inspire the diverse community college students they serve. And this webinar is part of the NSF Aspire Alliance series of informational webinars that we are offering as a West Texas Fellowship Program to promote our program and also to provide some awareness in what it is that we offer as a mentoring experience and opportunity. So again, welcome everybody. And before we begin with our speakers, I would like to take a moment and I have a quick poll. So you will see on your screen 3 questions. These are anonymous answers. I'm gonna give you a minute to answer these and we will share the results. This is to get our conversation started and we will use these answers later in the presentation. Does everybody see the screen?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
People answering. Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay. Right now we have 19 participants and 8, 9 are already answering. Thank you so much. Almost there. Six more. Thank you. 13 out of 18.
I don't think you meant for me to fill it out, right?
And these are our results. So are you familiar with academic career opportunities at community colleges? 38% said yes. 62% no. So we have an audience here. Would you be interested in apprenticeship at a community colleges in your, or a community college, sorry, in your region? And of course, 92% said yes and 8% unsure. So we are glad to have you here to clarify this career path. And finally, have you ever been the instructor or TA or RA for an undergraduate course? And most of our attendees have. So thank you so much for sharing those answers. And this will give us some ground for a later conversation. Okay, so in order to begin, I would like to introduce you to Dr. Benjamin Flores, and he will be talking about the Aspire Alliance and the West Texas Regional Collaborative. And Dr. Flores is a professor of electrical engineering at the University of Texas at El Paso, and also the PI and director of the LSAM program and the Aspire program. Dr. Flores?
Thank you, Sara. I really appreciate this opportunity to talk to our students about the National Science Foundation program that is funding our regional collaboratives. This is part of a large effort that is multi-institutional across the United States, and we call it the Aspire Alliance. So within the Alliance, what we aspire to do is to develop inclusive and diverse STEM faculty across the nation. And when we look at faculty, we also take into account future faculty, individuals who may be pursuing a master's or a doctoral degree that would be very interested in an academic career. And the focus of our regional collaboratives, Sarah, if you do I have control of the presentation? Okay. So the Alliance supports a number of regional collaboratives across the United States. We have two regional collaboratives in the state of Texas. There are two collaboratives in California, one in Florida, one in Iowa, and one in North Carolina. All of these alliances have a primary goal of preparing future faculty for careers at two-year institutions. So the participating institutions are not just uh, four-year universities, but also two-year community colleges and junior colleges across the United States. Sara? So in Texas, we have two regional collaboratives. One of them is our collaborative, which is based in West Texas, and it includes three colleges in the region: El Paso Community College, and we're pleased to have Dean Amaya representing El Paso Community College, Midland College, and we have Dr. Tom Reddy representing Midland College, and we also have Odessa College, and we have a professor who couldn't be with us, but he sends his regards, who typically represents Odessa College. As far as universities is concerned, of course, we have the University of Texas El Paso, uh, and also the University of Texas of the Permian Basin, and we have Dr. Milka Montes representing UTPB. We're very proud that she's also an alumna of UTEP, and so is Dr. Reddy, I believe, and so is Dr. Amaya, for that matter. So I am surrounded. I see myself surrounded by alumni, and this feels really good. I'm also an alum from the university, so we're a fantastic team together, I think. Uh, so the West Texas Regional Collaborative is the initiative that we're going to talk about today. And what we have to offer essentially is a fellowship program for students who, like you, have expressed an interest in pursuing an academic career at a community college. Sara, back to
This,
you.
this is in part of an initiative to get some awareness about the importance of community colleges and how STEM education in community colleges, especially, well, we know science, technology, engineering, and math, and how it has become the edge of the US um, to compete in the global workforce. So, how to get a STEM education is now a big source of discussion for business and for educational leaders. Again, this is another reason to bring in initiatives such as this program, right? So the shift from four-year schools to a two-year degree is now a pronounced one, and we've seen this change, and data proves it. And while it may not be right for everybody, it is definitely a key component of the economic health of this country. And this is why also this program is a great opportunity to start becoming aware of these other career paths that might be something of your interest as you are becoming educators yourself and mentors to gain knowledge of what is this experience firsthand by people who are doing it successfully. So community colleges are the new lead force in STEM education. And with this, I would like to introduce our guest speakers. And we have first, we're doing this in alphabetical order. So Dr. Carlos Amaya, who is Dean of Architecture, Art, Math, and Science Division at El Paso Community College, as Dr. Flores had mentioned. So Dr. Amaya, we open the microphone to you and you can share your experience at the community college and as a dean, a professor, and mentor, of course. Welcome, Dr. Amaya.
Thank you, Sara, Dr. Flores, and my colleagues. So I appreciate getting to chat with everybody here. And I thought, well, I'm going to be talking to a bunch of STEM graduate students who might not be very familiar with the role of community colleges, or with community colleges at all, but especially in the context of offering an education to a very diverse set of students. So I came up with these 10 bullets, right, just to share, because you guys are STEM students and you're probably interested in data. So I'll give you a few data points, 10 here. So in Texas, community colleges represent the largest sector of higher ed and serve quite a diverse group of students, about 47% of all undergraduate enrollment, and they serve 70% of all undergraduate freshmen and sophomores. And nationally, community colleges have very diverse populations, and they serve traditionally underserved and underrepresented populations at a higher rate than their four-year counterparts. So Hispanic students account for about 26% of their enrollment, and Black students about 13% of their enrollment. In Texas, though, the numbers are higher for Hispanic students, and Hispanics make up of about 47% of community college enrollment. And overall in Texas, they're serving about 72% of all underserved and underrepresented freshmen and sophomores in higher ed. So as of 2019, 71% of all bachelor level graduates in Texas had some community college transfer credit. That means 3 credits or so, at least. And 30% had more than 30 hours of community college transfer credit. And that's growing because we're seeing this a lot more with dual credit and early college high school students. I'm at number 5 now. So here's one that I think everybody knows. Community colleges are affordable, right? So it's about right under $8,000 or so to get an associate's degree at El Paso Community College. That's a pretty good bargain for getting halfway through your undergraduate degree. I'll continue on. I'll tell you a little bit about El Paso Community College. El Paso Community College has been ranked the #1 two-year school in the United States for granting associate degrees to Hispanic students for 14 straight years. It's a pretty big accomplishment. This is one that surprises a lot of people. EPCC's enrollment this fall is about a little over 26,000 students, 26,100. And that's representing actually a slight decline. We had about a 10% enrollment decline. We're attributing it due to this COVID situation. Our population, our typical enrollment is about 29,000, and our population is about 84% Hispanic. We are what's known as a designated Hispanic serving institution. I mentioned dual credit. So dual credit is when students from a high school take classes at El Paso Community College or offer classes at their campus being taught by credentialed faculty. So dual credit enrollment is significant at El Paso Community College. It makes up about 1/3 of our enrollment, and about 72% of our early college high school students, and those are students that are going to high school and attempting to earn an associate's degree. So 72% of those early college high school students graduate with an associate's degree before earning a high school credential. We lead the state in that percentage. We have about 20 early college high schools and PTECs here in El Paso, and in Texas, 93% of all dual credit enrollments are at community colleges. 2 more things. And in 2019, so speaking of diversity, right? In 2019, El Paso Community College received the Seal of Excelencia from Excelencia in Education. And this is a prestigious voluntary and comprehensive certification recognizing El Paso Community College's commitment and ability to successfully serve Latino students. And then finally, El Paso Community College consistently receives designation of a military-friendly school, and we received it again this past year. So those are just some sort of like bullets about community colleges. And I'm not gonna go too deep in this. I'll give you just a little brief idea of like, what does it take to be a successful STEM educator at a community college? Because I know Dr. Reddy's gonna knock it out of the park. I heard him the last time. He really put it together nicely. I'll just tell you a little bit about what I did. As a graduate student, I TA'd, and I saw a lot of you all have TA'd. I lectured at the university. I went to the University of Texas at Arlington for my graduate work. And then I also taught at Dallas County Community College. So I was teaching at all these different levels. And I was thinking, you know, that whole time that I really had a feel, I really liked what the community college experience was. So if you're worried about not being able to do research, there are research opportunities, although community college life is heavy on teaching, right? That's our job. We are a teaching school, right? We have a relatively high teaching load. It's 15 credits for non-STEM faculty, and for STEM faculty, it's 21 contact hours at El Paso Community College. But there are other things you could that are very beneficial. We can earn tenure at El Paso Community College. And as I mentioned, there's lots of availability of research and grant opportunities. Right before this, I was on a Teams call with one of my faculty who just put in a $2 million NSF grant. And there's great opportunities for partnership like this. So I'm partnered with the University of Texas El Paso. That's our 4-year partner. And we have a great relationship. I partner with in a couple of other areas with Dr. Flores, but between EPCC and UTEP, there's the Bridges to the Baccalaureate grant, the STEM Grow grant, LSAMP, Aspire. I can name several more. So you can still keep your foot in the door if you're interested in continuing to do a little bit of research. So I look forward to our breakout groups and you all asking me any questions if you have any further.
Thank you, Dr. Amaya. I appreciate that. Yes, we will have a breakout session after this, so you can have a possibility to ask direct questions and get some answers directly from our speakers. So following Dr. Amaya, I would like to introduce Dr. Milka Montes, Chair and Professor of Chemistry from the University of Texas Permian Basin. Milka is also one of our proud LSAMP graduates and a big cohort for our Aspire Alliance. So Milka, you are unmuted now. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Sarah, for the nice introduction. That's kind of you. And good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us today for this, chat or workshop. And thank you to my colleagues and Dr. Flores and everybody for being here. So yeah, my name is Milka Montes. I am an alumni, a UTEP alumni. I am a chemist by training. And so I'll start by talking a little bit about myself and how I got here real quick, and then I will talk about the university. I know that I'm under the community college faculty. I'm kind of like filling in a little bit, but I do have a few things that are really interesting about this particular university that I'm at. But the first thing is I was a student at UTEP and in an LSAMP, and as well as a bridge to the doctorate, a LSAMP bridge to the doctorate alumni. And after I got my PhD at UTEP from chemistry, I went and got a postdoc position in California. So being in universities and in this alliance at like UTEP or any of the UT systems, or even in the community college, really provides a lot of opportunities. It opens your doors to very good opportunities. I would have never thought that I was gonna spend a year in California, in Santa Barbara, which is a beautiful, beautiful campus. And then right after that, I always thought that I was going to be a professor. I didn't know where or how. In fact, one of my goals was to come back to El Paso, because I'm a native from Chihuahua, but I've spent most of my life in Texas, in El Paso. So my goal was to come back to Texas and maybe become a community college professor or instructor, because I knew that it would be difficult for me to be a professor at UTEP, particularly because of something they call academic incest. I don't know if they still use that terminology, Dr. Flores. Yeah. So I was not allowed to come back to UTEP and teach because I had gotten my degrees from that university. So the first point, I guess, if we were going to follow a little bit like Dr. Amaya, I'm not very good. I didn't prepare a bullet point, I'm sorry. I'm gonna just kind of go along with this. So the first point was you are in a very good position to plan out your future. So I am so glad that you're here and that you're interested on learning about careers in academia, because we need people that can, reflect the student population that we have. one of the things that I always listen and heard when I heard Dr. Natalicio talk, she would always say that one of her points was to make sure that UTEP, the UTEP student population reflected the community's population, right? So UTEP has done a tremendous job at doing that. Now we have a lot of, I mean, decades of educating people that look and sound and talk and, you know, behave, have the same culture as the population from El Paso. But not only that, I also had the opportunity to plan. And so that, like I said, that was my plan because my family was in El Paso, so I wanted to go back, but things do change. But when I was in Santa Barbara, I actually had the opportunity to work at the Santa Barbara Community College. I don't think I've mentioned that too much because it was only a short period of time, and I was an adjunct at the Santa Barbara Community College. And I was teaching math, nothing to do with chemistry, but it was a very good experience for me because it kind of opened my mind to what it would look like to teach a different population, right? When you're a doctoral student or a master's student, you are used to TA and you work with students that are younger than you for the most part if you're in a traditional university. But working at a community college, the experience is completely different because you have students who just graduated from high school, and then you may have people that are the age of your parents. So it's like a wide range of different ages and cultures and things like that. So you kind of have to adjust, and you have to adjust to the culture and to the differences in that student population. So that was a really, really good experience. But then again, it was a short-lived experience. I actually found a job offer here at UT Permian Basin, and I went with it, applied, and surprisingly, I was hired even just after 1 year of having a postdoctoral position. And it is different. It is different than the community college, but it is also different than what I had experienced in a bigger university where they offer master's and PhD programs. So the four-year institution like UTPB actually mimics a lot what the community college experience would be. So we have a wide variety of population. We don't necessarily, because this is a small institution, we don't necessarily have traditional students, or the population is not completely traditional. Like if you would go to, say, like, I don't know, a small Baptist university somewhere where all the students, freshmen, going straight out of high school. But we also have different populations. So for example, UTPB is a Hispanic serving institution. About 53% of our population are first generation. And coincidentally, but not related, also 53% are Hispanic or Latino, okay? But we also have other cultures and other ethnicities. We have, I think, something like 30% is white, and they're not first generation. They're just from the area. Another thing that makes this type of institution a little bit different and unique is that we are very close. We have very close relationships with our colleges. So in the area, in the Permian Basin area, which is Odessa Midland, we have 3 colleges. We have Odessa College, which is a 2-year college. We have Midland College, and Dr. Reddy will talk about it. And we also have Howard College, which is about an hour away from here. But we have what they called bridge programs and transfer agreements. We all have to follow the same general education requirements. So our curricula looks the same, very similar. And for example, in our programs, our chemistry programs, at least for Midland College and UTPB, we teach almost exactly the same thing. There's no difference. So it's really nice to have this type of interaction. And yes, being at this university has been has put me in a privileged position where I can actually participate in programs like this one, like the Aspire program. I also participate in the Summer Research Academy, which is a different program for undergraduates. And I really like doing this because this gives me the opportunity to open the doors for other people or students who may not even know about this, right? And so for you, the audience, which I'm very glad that you joined us, there are so many things that we can tell you about, but it won't occur to us unless you ask us. So I will leave it at that, and I will be happy to answer any questions whenever comes to that. Thank you.
Milka. Thank you very much. And now we will continue with Dr. Tom Reddy. He's professor of chemistry at Midland College and one of our very dear collaborators also for the LSAM program. So Dr. Reddy, if you want to share your experience with us, your mic is open now.
Thank you. And thank you for having me. It's a privilege to be here. It's so difficult to follow Dr. Amaya and Dr. Montes because they're so articulate and they have such great insights, but I'll do my best here. So I'm going to talk about community colleges in general, some aspects, and then if time permits, I'll hone in on Midland College specifically. You should be asking yourself, why would I want to teach at a community college? We all have these preconceptions. I know I did when I was a graduate student that, oh, if I was teaching at a community college, that would be a step down. And that is the farthest thing from the truth. Community colleges are a place where you can make a difference in the world. And if you want to make a difference in the world, you can really make a big impact at a community college. And here's how. Many of the students that attend community colleges are first generation students, and they are people who are striving to climb up that next rung of the ladder. And you, as an instructor, can be the difference between someone who spends their life making an hourly salary or an hourly wage and someone who has a professional career making big money. So you are the difference. And you can make that big impact immediately on your students. But not only that, the children of college educated people have a much higher success rate. So if you are able to get your immediate students a college degree, their children have a much higher percentage of also attaining a college degree. And so you're impacting not just your immediate students, you're impacting generations to come. And you're contributing to a more well-trained workforce and a stimulus to the economy at large. So if you want to make a difference in the world, you can't find a better place than a community college. Community college careers for instructors, they are good paying jobs. You're not going to make a fortune. So if money is the most important thing in your life, you might consider a different track in your professional career. But I always say that community colleges give a great quality of life. And that's twofold. One, you do make a good salary. And two, you have professional satisfaction in a number of different ways. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. You're able to make a good living, and you're able to satisfy your own personal needs, whatever those may be. So you should consider teaching at a community college if lifestyle and quality of life is more important than making money. You're going to make about 25% to 30% less than a professor at a university. So that gives you an idea of the pay scale. So the second point I want to make is about first generation students. They have special needs. They do not have a legacy or a family history of internal family guides to help them through the college experience. So you as a faculty or as an instructor are their pathfinder. You are the person who can guide them through all the trails and tribulations of going to college, because they don't have that family base of knowledge to fall back on. And so mentoring is a huge part of the community college faculty experience. And the second thing is it's already been touched upon, is the student population at community colleges. In the last 10 or 15 years, it's kind of changed. So traditionally, community college students have been a little bit older than your university college students. And that's for several reasons. You have students who start college and then life gets in the way. Maybe they start a family or they have a career change or something impedes them progressing through the college experience. So they stop for a couple of years and then they restart their college education. And so those students tend to be a little bit older, late 20s, maybe even early 30s. But in the last 10 or 15 years, you've heard mention of dual credit early college high school students. So these are students who are 17 and 18. So they are younger than conventional college students. So if you look at the average age of a community college student now, it's probably not too much different than the average age of a university student. But that's misleading, because you have older students and you have younger students. And so the average comes out the same, but very different student populations when it comes to maturity and navigating college. So that's a difference between community colleges and universities, is you have these this age difference. Another thing about community colleges is that there are some common misconceptions, and that's, I admit I had some of these same misconceptions when I was a graduate student. One of those is that, well, community colleges only get the dregs of college students, the low ambition, low achievers. And that is just totally false. I can tell you that a lot of my students are very high achievers and very ambitious. We have a lot of pre-med students in our program. And so they are on top of things, and they keep the instructors on their toes, I can tell you. Another misconception is that there's no research at community colleges. And this comes to the point where every school is different. And that's true for universities, and that's true for community colleges. Every institution of higher learning has its own culture, and a large part of that is derived from the people who were there, the leadership and the people on the ground. And so if you're investigating whether it's a university academic job or a community college academic job, you should do your homework on the institution that you're trying to get a job at, because their culture may be different than another place just down the road. And every institution is different. Research can be done at community colleges. This is a much more common occurrence than you might think. In the past, say 25 years ago, the common conception was, well, you get your basics out of the way and then you transfer to a research university. And that's still the case in many instances, but there are community colleges that conduct research. There are strategies that enable you to be able to do that. And I'll be happy to share those, some of those strategies that I've learned on conducting research at a community college in the breakout group. But you can do it, and it is being done, and it's important. And it's important because there's plenty of academic studies out there that show that students that participate in research in their first year or their second year, one, they have higher retention rates. They don't drop out. And two, they're more likely to complete their degree. And they're more likely to transfer to a four-year university. So it's so important for community colleges to conduct research, because it makes our students better and makes them more likely to succeed and get that college degree. So that's the things I wanted to say about community colleges in general. I'll talk a bit about Midland College. It mirrors the other institutions in West Texas. We are a Hispanic serving institution. About a third of our college population is early college high school students or dual credit. We have an early college high school on the Midland College campus. It occupies one of our buildings on campus. So the students are embedded into the community college culture. We have also experienced an enrollment drop, and there's different theories about why that is. Could be the change in the oil economy. It could be COVID-19, several factors at play. It's hard to separate those issues out. But we're considered a rural community college. Midland is about, well, 200,000, I guess, or maybe a little less than that. And the Midland College population's right around, I'd say around 5,500, something like that. So it's a small school. And so that's a feature. So to wind up, I'll just say that if you're interested in going into academia, you should get enrolled in this Aspire program. Whether you're going to plan to go to a four-year university as a professor or a community college as a professor, you're going to learn things in this Aspire program that are essential to being an academic faculty. And so I just want to encourage you to do that. And thank you for letting me ramble on here. And I'll turn it back over to Sarah.
Thank you, Dr. Reddy. Thanks, everybody. We've been answering some of your questions in the chat about opportunities for international students and full-time. Thank you, Dr. Amaya, for just answering that questions about position and availability of community college positions. So in order to continue the conversation, we're going to send you to a quick break. We have also, I would like to welcome a couple of people who joined late. Thank you for your time. We know some of you are working, and we do appreciate that you were able to join in. I am going to ask you if you can turn on your cameras. Do not worry, the breakout room session is not recorded and it's all confidential. So that way we get a better chance to seeing you and interacting with you. You will be assigned into a room with one of our guest speakers, and that way you can pose your questions and talk more about the options that teaching at a community college, being a faculty at a community college, and the research at a community college as well. So I will see you in 10 minutes. Everybody has a room assigned. You will see a warning when it's 5 minutes down, and then a minute before everybody returns to the room. Okay, have fun, ask all your questions, and I will see you in a little bit.
And we're back.
Back, everybody. Immediately, everybody turns their camera off. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. Well, thank you so much for participating in our breakout session. And to continue, I hope you had an opportunity to ask your questions and clarify some of your concerns or just your general inquiries about participating with us. And to continue, I'm going to hand the mic to Mr. Agni Prava Banerjee, who is our research associate for the Aspire Collaborative. And Agni is going to talk to you about the program and the fellowship specifics. So Agni, all yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. So I'll just quickly go through the major parts of the fellowship program, which we offer over here. So as you can see right over here, so from the major parts, so we have a participation stipend of $1,500, which is offered to the fellows. And that really helps you get through, like, I know for everyone in college, that's like a great monetary funding help. Also, as you can see here, you will be mentored by a qualified community college professor. You guys already had a chance to listen to Dr. Reddy, and then you had a chance to listen to Dr. Amaya, and we have some other community college faculty who haven't been able to join us, but you get excellent mentoring opportunities. You're also provided with excellent professional development opportunities, whether it's being through webinars, whether it's preparing you for the community college interviews and etc. And finally, as you know, as a mark of completing this internship / cohort, you get a certificate of completion and for that. Okay, so just to quickly go through a few of the activities. The activities here are mostly originated around the entire, it's around the entire semester. So we first start with the meet and greet, which for the next semester, you can understand it's going to be virtual. Now, taking mention of few of the workshops which we offer. So there's a teaching philosophy and teaching statement workshop, which will help you prepare, make a teaching philosophy and a statement. There are also workshops on active learning and also workshops on preparing a syllabus. So just the fact, just to mention that this only does not help you during this cohort, but it also literally makes your portfolio completely strong and ready to apply. Like you'll be seeing as a part of the cohort and all of that, we have quite a few Aspire fellows who immediately were able to go after this. For example, Jay here, he finished our Aspire, he was Aspire fellow here, and he was also during the pandemic time. So he got a first-hand chance of looking through online classes, having mentors guide him through online classes. And right now he's a PhD student at UMass Amherst, and he's not able to join us today, but he mentioned that what a great experience he's having as an online TA because of his Aspire experience. We also have a few other, this is like Jocelyn over here. She was here when we had the face-to-face Aspire cohort, and she's now a PhD student at University of Texas at El Paso, and she is also being able to, have a better experience as she's managing the TA and she's managing teaching in this tough times.
Thank you, Agni. We are running out of time, so we are going to wrap it up, and we are going to introduce you quickly, or remind you, better said, to the lead team. So as Dr. Flores introduced our presentation today, I will like to remind you he is the professor and PI director of our alliance, Dr. Montes, myself, Sara Rodriguez, and Mr. Agni Prava Banerjee, research associate, who you might also have his email and contact information from the previous email that we sent you with the webinar link. And please feel free to reach out if you have any questions, any comments, and our application process is now open. So once we finish today's event, I will send you a follow-up email with the process and the links to apply, and how to get your information in our system. So we want to thank you for your time this afternoon, and also thank our speakers as well for answering questions, for being part of this session. And we really hope that this has been informational and motivational as well. Dr. Flores, do you have any other comments before we finish?
Well, I just want to thank our guests for having carved the time out of their busy schedules, and also to our students who did exactly the same thing. We realize many of you work. Some of you may have actually taken time off from your classes so that you could join us today, and we really appreciate this. I hope that this has been helpful. And again, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact us. And more importantly, if you want to participate in the program, you need to apply. So make sure that you apply, okay? You all take care of yourselves. Stay safe out there. Stay warm too. It's pretty cold in West Texas right now. So thank you so much for everything.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
so much. And you have our contact information, and please keep an eye in your emails. I will be sending that in a couple of minutes. So if you have any questions, I see some other questions in private and in the chat. Feel free to reach out, reply, and ask us so we can better guide you. Thank you so much for your time. Stay safe, wash your hands, wear a mask, and we will see you soon. Thank you, everybody. Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Wear a mask, everybody. Wear a
Oh,
mask.
yes.
Thank you, Sarah. It was very
Thank
nice.
you, Sarah.
Thank you, everybody.
Tom.